Hi, so I'm going to demo the React site. Start at the login page. This is a financial indicators app. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. It's just going to take a little bit. The render site has to spin up, and hopefully it won't take too long. Oh, come on. All right, there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the products page. You can go to the products. You can see all the financial indicators that I have. Let's see, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight indicators. When you select one, it allows you to go to checkout. Select another one. You got the prices, add to cart, and let's go ahead and check out. So here's a cart. You can remove items. You got the total over here, and then you just add your address. Let's go ahead and remove an item. And so I remove one, it's gone, and then I'm going to add an address. Avenue, city, somewhere, and state, Antarctica. Oops. And then add a zip code. And then we go ahead and, with these two items, we place an order. Order was successful. It automatically looked at my IP address, um, figured out that I was in the US and granted it because it grants IP addresses in the US and the United Kingdom because that is what I selected. And that is the end of this tutorial. Your order was successfully submitted. Hi, so I wanted to go over the Postman response or request. And so if you look, I have the regular Postman requests, and then I have some of the error handling. I'm not going to go over the error handling, just let you know that it works. So we go ahead and sign in. Go ahead, sign in. You got the token, and so we'll add a country. So this is adding a country. You're allowing this person has this IP address in this country. You're allowing it. If it's not in this list, so we're going to go ahead and add it. This is actually Antarctica. True, and then we're going to look at the granted countries, and the one we just added, Antarctica, was just added. We can delete it and delete the country. Go back, and it is not there anymore. So it's just the US IP. So we'll look at the UK. UK is in the granted list, uh, and you can see that it was granted. And then we're going to go to deny. I think this IP address is in Iran. Go ahead and send this request. Denied. This country is. I'm not so sure what this country code is, but it's just not in the list, so it was denied. Add order. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and so here is our test order. It should work. And Success was true. The order was added. And we can get the orders. These are all the orders in the database. Get a specific order. You can do that. Update order. We'll go ahead and update the order. Order was updated. And then we'll go ahead and clear that test order. And we can see that the test order was deleted. Okay, so next we're going to go to adding an item. And I'll go ahead and run it. Add an item, and this will also be displayed on the website. So all you have to do is just add the item here, and it will be displayed as long as you have a good image URL. You can get the item, get all items. We'll go ahead and run that. And you have all the items here, including the one we just added. Get item, get the specific item, update, we'll go ahead and update it. Send that. Go ahead and update the item, and then since it's just a test item, we go ahead and delete it. And the item has been, let's look at the list of items. And then that test item is there no more. So that's how you use Postman. There's also error handling. Like not all the fields are used, or maybe there's some white space that doesn't really count. So I had it throw an error. And just like some things like, you add an item and there's a negative price. That's going to cause a problem, so it's not going to be added to the database. So just things like that that I thought about to add into this final project that looks like it'll work. Hi, I'm Andrew Quaife. I go by my middle name. I created a financial indicator app and IP geolocation. The problem is twofold: to automate the shopping cart system using a website to be able to broadcast to the world, and just a better way to do things instead of having to go door to door or have in wanting to automate the process. The second part is the IP geolocation, to be able to figure out the IP address of the person who's creating the order, and stop in malicious attacks, which are usually from foreign countries, is one way to do it. So my solution to these two problems is to go away from going door to door and having to market without a website, and automating the process. And the second solution is to stop those malicious attacks and to geolocate the IP address so that you can mitigate the problems of malicious attacks, or anything that just causes problems. So my biggest challenge was to actually right at the start, and creating the rack site. I just got a ton of errors, and I didn't know what was going on. And from my experience, I'm used to having the access in the SQL from the front end, and it was kind of new to me that you actually have an API in the back end using SQL, and the front end talks with the back end. So that was the underlying problem to try to solve. So my biggest highlights, the API actually wasn't too bad. uh, the geolocation part of it, and the API worked pretty well. Granted countries that were in the database and denied countries that weren't. And the items in a database, they have their own database. So, whatever is in the items in the database is reflected on the website. It's a nice way to do things, more streamlined, and works pretty well. The construction. So we have the React website. Um, you can see a few products there, products that are displayed on the site, and then products that are in the cart. And then once you add to cart, there's a checkout button that pops up. And then once you're in the cart, you can remove those items. And then once you're finished with figuring it out, then you just add your address and place an order, and it will send that order to the API, and it will work. So I took database systems and I created a pseudo diagram of the database that I'm working with, a little bit of relations, showing the attributes and the items and stuff like that. So some of the packages, the React site, React Yarn, Redux, Thunk, how to deploy it, Yarn build, Yarn start, bcrypt for the passwords, Express for the server, Mongoose for the database. And then GeoIP country was used to figure out what country IP address locates to. And then here are some, instructions on the API, how to use it in Postman or whatever you're using. Create an account, grant and deny IP address, orders, stuff like that. And then here's items that are automatically updated in the website, just how to access them, API, modify, delete them if you need to. Future developments. Yeah, the obvious thing is to just add a payment system. And originally I was thinking about doing a probably a more in depth, a lot more ambitious idea to just create, not only a where you can see the items and you can purchase them, but also you have a chart and you can display those indicators. So that worked pretty well, or that's what I was thinking of doing. Sorry, and it just didn't. It just take too much time, and I I really didn't need to do something like that. The next thing would be a product page for each item to have like description, maybe some more pictures. Free trials would also work, and finally maybe some more visual appeal, adding icons and stuff like that. And then thank you for your time, and here are some of the links.